Well, it says we're live. So, welcome. Live from the crossroads of America. Talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience. Just put them in the chat or email me at rickslife at gmail.com or spottedrick at gmail.com. And let me have a look. Is my chat working? Because there ain't nobody here except for Jason. Man, people must be out. It's a beautiful day out there. It's 82. The gun snobs here. It's 82 degrees here in southern Indiana. The sun is shining. It's really nice. So, all right, the gun snobs here. Sabrina's joined us, so people are starting to trickle in now. Okay, and let me introduce my panel. Ohio 45 is here. My panel up here in the corner, I've got New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody.
Okay, Vanessa's joined us. And next on my panel here is the one and only Patriot in the Dark.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Yeah, okay, Raphael's joined us in the chat, I see. Then we got the one and only Kingpin. How you doing?
Pretty good, Rick. Thanks for having me. Good to see everybody today.
Yeah, well, then we've got Squibload. How you doing, Squib?
Happy every second matters, everybody.
That's right. Got my hat on. I wear it every time, but I got it on. Every second matters. 2nd of May. So there we go. Oh, Sabrina said it's a rainy day over there in the Netherlands. Yeah, I said it's nice here. I went shooting yesterday. As I said, I wasn't going, but as I was heading to the dollar store, and to get to my shooting range, you have to go past the mill and hang a left. I got past the mill and I went, screw it, and I took a left and went down the road and went to my range and stayed there for. I wasn't there long, but it was nice just to get out there and shoot the old gun, the 38. My 30. I'm saying 38. My 380. I need to take that 38.
And it comes better in no time.
I got a 38 special. I ain't shot that thing in over a year. I need to take that out and shoot that thing.
Now, Rick, do you have just a range bag that you have in your truck, or how'd you go about that? You said it was just a.
Oh, I carry a box of ammo in the truck.
Okay.
Right. I didn't have my bag with me, but I do normally when I go. I have a range bag that has if I'm taking other guns, there be in there other ammo, cleaning supplies, tools if I need them. But I didn't take any of that, and my targets are in the back of the bed of my truck anyway. So I just threw up a one still target. I only shot about 30 rounds when I was down there. I said I wasn't prepared, but I just wanted to get out and do it. So I'm going to make an effort Monday to take the actual range bag with me and spend a little time down there.
That's a pretty good idea. Is it something that people do? Just have a basic range bag thrown in your trunk, or?
Oh yeah.
I mean, is there legal things carrying around extra ammunition unless it's locked up or something? I'm sure you have to check with your state, but
yeah. But I believe here in Indiana it's okay. But anyway, I introduced everybody who was here in the chat when I first started. Okay, now I checked something. They haven't released anything yet, but the Supreme Court in their conference on Friday, there was 10 Second Amendment cases sitting there. So I'm hoping they'll pick up a couple of them. Hopefully at least one. So who's joined us with their camera on here? I don't mind the camera being on, but I don't know who it is. So
It'd be nice they heard at least a couple of them.
Yeah.
Consider how long it's been since anything's really been pushed through. So it'd be great to set kind of get a line out there. Hopefully, see where they sit. So.
Yeah. I think half of them. I can't hear you. Yeah, all we're hearing is mumbling.
You hear me now?
Yeah, and your camera's on, by the way.
So I'm not. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that part out.
No problem. No problem. So you're guns and barbecue.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
No problem. No problem. So I was just starting my discussion here. I was talking about the conference the Supreme Court had on Friday. There was 10 2A court cases. I don't know how many they're going to pick up. I hope they pick up at least one, but I hope they do more. At least 5 of them, from what I can figure out, were to do with concealed carry permits. Illinois, and I think it was Illinois and New Jersey, I think. But the one I hope they pick up is the one out of Massachusetts for the assault weapons ban, where they're suing the Attorney General. Because if they do that one and we win, all assault weapons bans across the country will be voided. You know what I'm saying? But
that would be nice.
Yep.
That would be nice. Because the way it's going now, we could end up like Canada. A stroke of a pen. Boom. Gone. So, see, in some ways, that's the beauty of the Second Amendment. The president really can't do that, or Congress can't do that with a stroke of a pen to wipe out guns altogether, So, but could they actually, the assault weapons ban, Congress could vote that in to actually ban assault weapons in this country, right? As what they deem as assault weapons. As we know, it's not. It's a scary thought, to be honest with you guys. It really is. You got any thoughts on it, Kingpin?
Yeah, they could definitely do it. They did it once before, so only thing that's going to stop them from doing it this time is us, and it's not going to be showing up at your Capitol one day a year. Now we're going to have to start protesting like the left does, and I don't mean burning stuff and attacking people, but they shut the government down for 2 months. We could shut the government down for another 2 months.
Glad you clarified, Kingpin, because I don't know if I could act that crazy.
Well, normally in a conversation like this, I wouldn't have to clarify my statement because you guys aren't scumbags. But just in case somebody happens to be listening that isn't a part of our regular group, I need them to know that we're not scumbags.
All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They could do it, but you're right. We need to be more active at state level, and we need to be active at the federal level too. Now, I know there's people out there who say sending electronic emails don't work and all this, but as what's his name from GOA, Eric Pratt? Is that his name? As he said,
yep.
We flooded that office with over 1 million emails on that. Oh shit! I lost the train of not train of thought. I lost what it was about. There was a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember.
GOA, like the letters. Is that what you're speaking of?
Okay.
Yeah, the
There was
postcards.
one a couple of weeks ago. There was one a couple of weeks ago, and I can't think what the hell it was. But they received over 1 million emails. So it does work, So.
Was it for that House bill that basically the Democrats threw out there to just try and ban whatever the heck they could, which, I mean, really was just them trying to say, hey, we're doing something, even though they know it's not going to
I think
happen.
that's the one. Yeah. Yeah. But
I think it was like 1637 or something like that.
Yeah. I believe that's the one. But where I'm going is those emails, even though the pre-printed ones that JOA does, Firearms Coalition, even the NRA does them. I mean, just click on them, fill your info in there, and do it. Then you can always write your own letter, another letter by yourself if you want. But I'll go ahead and do that bunch. As we discussed this before, I'm not saying they don't sit there and read them all, but whoever email box we hit, like there, they go, by the way, boss, we got 1 million emails on this one subject. That's going to make a senator or a congressman sit up and notice. So that people on. So we need to do it. Also, if you write a handwritten letter, I believe that don't they have to answer that one back to you? Or I think
I've gotten answers both ways, but they both seem similar to me. Where I doubt anybody read them. Half the time, they don't mention anything that was in the context of it. They just state they're doing what they feel is right, and of course they appreciate your concern and blah blah blah. And it's always seems to be the same crap. Doesn't matter if I write it or if I send in a card that I notice anyway.
I've had
show up in nice letters and government paper and everything looking nice, and it says the same garbage. In my opinion, like talking to a wall.
Yeah, I've had a couple of letters sent back to me, and it's just a form letter, and I'm reading it, and I'm saying, well, when are you going to start talking about the reason I wrote you in the first place? They only answered the question I asked them. It's just a form letter that they send out. So they do the same thing back to us as we do to them.
I don't think they're really reading it. I think they just take count and say, if something's out of average, then they may pay more attention to it. Personally, that's as far as I think they go with it. I personally feel most of them feel they're in a different class, and we're just what they have to deal with at times, but that's just me.
I think part of it is when they get those form letters, they just kind of say, all right, well, here's another form letter that we got, add it to the list of 1,000 others. But when they get the handwritten ones, that normally draws a little bit more attention because it's showing that you're taking the initiative to sit down and write that yourself, not just stick your name on a calculated letter that took you 10 seconds to type in your name and hit send to my legislator.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you send a handwritten one with an envelope with a stamp on it, I would imagine they would read that one. They might read it and throw it in a pile, but as you said, it grabs their attention.
I'm going to jump in before Squib does. I'd say that I would just go to the Capitol, take a day off, and go in there and say hi.
Yes,
because they can't really look around you if you're in their face.
Yeah, you can even walk in your Capitol with the firearms too, can't you?
I would ask Squib.
I mean, isn't that what they did in the protest the other day?
Yes, it is absolutely 100% legal to walk into the state capital of Michigan with a firearm as long as you're not a prohibited person.
Now, is that a handgun or just long guns?
Anything that you are legally allowed to own.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I heard that snowflake said, I'm glad the security police or whatever, the Capitol Police or whatever, gave us bulletproof vests to wear. These people walking around here with their assault weapons strapped to their back.
Right. So we go up to the Capitol at least once a year for Second Amendment stuff. Sometimes it's several times a year. Just depends on what's going on, who organizes it, blah, blah, blah. They look out the window. They go, there's those gun nuts again. And they go back to work. That's all they do. So they're used to seeing that up there. The state police have never, ever given us any issues up there. And it's just not a thing. It just isn't. I mean, I walk around with a firearm in public here, and nobody seems to care. So it depends. If you're from a state where that's not allowed, or the cops are, most of them are anti-gun. And I'm not going to say that all the ones in Michigan are pro-gun per se, but if you've been assigned to guard the Capitol for years, and every year, oh, here's the gun guys again. All right, they're gone. It's just business as usual. So I guess it just depends on what your point of view is. If you live in a state that isn't free, you may look at what we do as, oh, that's not good. It's not representing the community. But in my opinion, it normalizes it.
And it is different too if you're actually there versus reading something on the internet or reading a newspaper, because anything that you see is going to be through a different lens than if you're actually standing there.
Has there ever been a single solitary case in the history of the Second Amendment where a Second Amendment rally had anything bad happen at it?
Not that I know of. Not in the few years I've been doing this. It's been around longer.
I've never heard of anything like that, but the way the press reports things, it just really depends. It either doesn't get reported at all because it's a non-issue, or they might have their left-leaning stuff, so they see what they say, and they were all there with fully automatic assault weapons. It's like nobody had a full auto at all, and none of these are assault weapons, or what, you know what I mean? So I would say that as far as violence or crime or something like that, not really per se, but how it's reported when it actually is, because in some cases, it doesn't even make the news.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Especially, I mean, you might get the local newspaper might pick it up, but that's about it. If you're lucky. Yeah, another thing, I was reading them because I've been a member of, the Concealed Carry Association for years, or for the last 4 years at least, and get their magazine. I'm reading their magazine this morning, and it was talking about being prepared or something. And I'm reading that article, and if you don't have training, intense training, going just once or twice is not good enough. You need to go training constantly, not only with firearms, but you got to learn how to use a knife. You got to learn how to use first aid. You got to learn how to use hand-to-hand fighting. If you don't have all those, you might as well just hang it up because you're going to die. Now I thought, what kind of crap is this? I'm not saying you don't need training.
You know why they say that, and a lot of these YouTube channels where their firearms instructors say that, right? Why? That's how they make money. That's how I'm not saying training doesn't have a place, and that some people, it might not be a bad idea for them to take some training. I'm not saying that it's but most of these people that are pushing training are either noobs who didn't know one end of a gun from another, got training, and now they want everybody to take it because they think they're all just as clueless as they were, or they make money off of this. If they're not selling training, they're selling IFAKs or concealed carry purses or whatever it is. And I get it. I get it. They've got to promote their business. They're entrepreneurs, right? And I'm not saying training is a bad thing, but some of these people push all this, you've got. As soon as we go down that road, we're jumping on the side with the anti-gunners saying, see, you need a license to do this. Where in the Second Amendment does it say you have the right to keep and bear arms as long as you've had training and a piece of paper?
I absolutely agree with you 100% on that, Squib.
Training, I'm kind of both ways on it. I think I don't think you necessarily have to have training. I think you stand a better chance in situations with learned muscle memory from training. In a lot of situations, there's a lot of things where it's proven training does help. Is it this, end all? I can say a lot of people defend themselves successfully with zero training. But depending where you are, what situation you're in, training's always an advantage, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
It
I'm not
doesn't mean
saying
you
it's
have
not
to go
either.
out and drop thousands of dollars at classes and go around the country. But if you've had none, I would suggest doing something, because most of the time is pretty humbling to the average person. Myself at
Absolutely.
times. So yeah,
Absolutely.
as soon as you close your mind, I think you're starting to lose at that point.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you there either. I mean, some training is good. What we were talking about before we went live, like with me just going down the range yesterday, where I just swung by. I said I only fired about 30 rounds because I said I only had a box of ammo, and it wasn't full. It only had about 30 rounds in it. That's why I only done 30 rounds. But I got to put another box in there. That reminds me.
I personally see that as just practice or shooting, not necessarily
but where I'm going with
training
it,
would involve some type of direction, either guidance from yourself, trying to improve.
Yeah, but where I was going with this is like I was discussing. I just went down there for that, but it took me about 8 or 9 shots because I haven't fired a gun in about 2 months. Right? It took me about 8 or 9 shots to get targeted back in. So I mean, you do need to keep shooting and going for training on how to draw from a holster and all this kind of good stuff. I done that early on, so I totally understand. I think everybody, I mean, as you said, you don't need it, but I think it's good to have it.
Yeah, training's a personal preference. I mean, I would push more medical because you're going to use that a lot more than you'll ever have to shoot anybody.
Well,
to protect yourself. And the only other thing would be, training as far as knowing the laws, because they always change, and that's something you should probably stay up on.
Yes, gun laws. You should.
But other than that,
yeah, I mean,
that's protected the farm for many years without too much training. But
when I first moved here to Indiana, I'd done it in Rhode Island. When I first moved to Indiana, I look up what the actual gun laws are in this state, and I save a copy here on the computer, and I sit here and read them all the time, get myself up to par what the laws are in this state. And that's good. That's what you need. And if you travel a lot, you need to keep on top of what states, because they can change on you too in a heartbeat. So, yeah, go on.
The only problem I have with training is the trainers that act like if you don't do this, you're going to die if you get into a gunfight. And the problem there is the odds of ever having to unholster your firearm and use your weapon in self-defense is so astronomically low. Then the scenarios that they create, like, well, we're going to be in our car and somebody's going to be approaching you with a gun. Now you got to decide, are you going to jump out of the car? Are you going to sit in here? Are you going to duck behind your door for cover? Are you going to shoot through the windshield? And again, you're in a scenario where you're already probably never going to have to pull out your personal defense weapon and defend yourself. And then they get into all these scenarios, which the scenarios are nice to train for, but they act like this is going to happen tomorrow. And if you don't do this, it's going to be your life. When most self-defense situations don't even involve a shot being fired, it's just oftentimes the weapon being pulled. And I'm not against training. I think it's a lot of fun. You get to meet like-minded individuals, talk, and just have a good overall experience. But it's just this idea that if you don't do this, you might as well not even carry a weapon that bothers me.
Yeah, that's very well. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Well, I was going to say that's very well said. That's the thing about training is a lot of the times the training that I hear about on YouTube are these trainers that are pushing it, doing that exact thing. If you don't take my class, you're going to die. And it's like, dude, right off the bat, you've lost me. But I remember one time they were interviewing a trainer on a show, and the guy, he was a young guy, early 20s, right? And he ran a class, and he had been certified in this and certified in that. Never in law enforcement, never in security, never in the military, but he's been certified. And he says, yeah, I tried to talk this guy into taking my handgun class, and he said, I learned everything I need to learn about shooting a handgun in the Marine Corps in 1965. And he says, you know, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And I wanted to jump through the computer screen and go, son, he's probably killed more people with a handgun than you'll ever have a chance to in your, I mean, he's going to tell this old guy, this veteran, who learned how to use a gun before this kid was a thought, before this kid's parents were probably born, okay, that he doesn't know anything. That's where trainers, and that guy kind of ruined it for me with a lot of trainers. As soon as somebody says they're a trainer, I'm like, oh, great. But it's that sort of attitude where it's like, look, you can be certified in whatever, you can have taught this for as long as you want. Have you ever actually done it? Well, no. Okay, then back off, dude. You know?
I agree with you there. So,
Just throw in, I think the numbers are different, you know, in different places, obviously. I would think, you know, maybe where Kingpin is, where I am, you know, the numbers may be a little higher. Like, I can't speak for him, but in my area, drive-bys and shootings and, you know, innocent people that are at a party get shot through a closed door, like, you know, almost annually. So I guess, you know, in a lot of cases, depending where you are, your crime level, things like that, yeah, you're probably a lot less likely. But, you know, in some of these cities it skyrockets your, you know, the odds of you being involved in something or, you know, nearly or whatever.
Oh, I know who we can ask. We can ask Kingpin. He lives there almost in the worst city in the country. Talk to me, David. What's your take on training?
Did your dad teach you how to train when he handed you the gun the first time? Did your dad teach you how to fight? You know, all these kinds of different things. I think most trainers focus on what I would call a yuppie, some schmuck that probably never held a gun before and just got one and, you know, needs to be completely educated on it. Now, am I poo-poo in training? No, of course not. Like, I think Guns and Barbecue said, it's tons of fun. And obviously you don't know everything. There may be some good trainer out there that can really help you out. But all of this goes back to whether you're taking advice from somebody, whether you're hanging out with somebody, or whether you're getting training from somebody. You have to assess the person that you're talking to. And in the first 5 minutes, if you feel like the person you're talking to is full of crap, then you don't want to be trained by them. And training is not really going to do people. I mean, if we're talking about violence in the city, most of the people who get shot in the city don't know it's coming.
Oh, why is it it's a stray bullet or whatever?
No, they get walked up behind and the back of their head gets blown out.
Oh, yeah. But a lot of that's gang too, isn't it?
Sure. In Baltimore City is not a gang territory. It's what you would call cliques. You know, instead of like the Bloods and the Crips running it like you see on TV in California, you got about 500 different little cliques, which is another thing that adds to the level of violence because you got more individual groups fighting over the same drug turf and you stepped on my shoes and you disrespected me type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. But, so, I mean, you, as a law-abiding citizen, living where you live, I mean, I guess odds are that you would have more chance of being in a shooting or an attack of some sort than me being out here in the middle of the country.
I mean, yeah, if you go by broad sweeping statistics, but me personally, I've hung out in Baltimore City my whole life and I hung out with all the bad guys my whole life and pretty much never really had to worry. I mean, I've been in a lot of dangerous situations where I'm pretty happy that I survived, but unless you cause somebody a problem, the just random killing somebody isn't really a thing. Most people either, like I said, you disrespected them, or they have something against you, or you hurt one of their friends. Now the problem is the collateral damage. When I come after you because you killed my friend last week, and I miss you and hit some 13-year-old girl playing on her bicycle in her front yard, or hit some 2-month-old baby that's laying in the bed in the living room, that's a lot of stuff that happens to the random people. But most people aren't going to be randomly murdered in Baltimore City. Most of it is purpose driven. Now, whether it's a robbery that goes bad, or more than likely a robbery that went as is intended, your average everyday Joe walking down to get a pack of cigarettes from the corner store isn't really in danger of getting killed unless he's got a bunch of enemies.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think, yeah, you got a point there. You really have. I mean,
the biggest problem for the random person getting hurt in Baltimore is if I see you commit a crime and somebody knows that I saw that, it's a very good chance that I'll be executed, because the snitching thing will get you killed in Baltimore City almost immediately.
yeah. Good point.
Maybe my area is a little different or something, because I know in my area, it's just, people get violent over everything. Traffic, lines at the store, or whatever the case is. People say hi, they start fighting. So it's strange.
Oh, yeah. And New York is unique.
And Baltimore City, only thing Baltimore City and New York have in common is city at the end of the name. It's an absolutely different world in downtown inner city Baltimore than it is in your quote unquote downtown inner city New York. Plus, New York has got 50 times the population.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, guys, want to bring up on this? Talk to me, guys. Look at you.
I don't have much. I would just state again, I don't think it's an end all. Like, you have to have it. Plenty of people have done without it. But I think, like with anything, the more you practice into something, the better off you're going to be. So you can't just buy a guitar and expect to be a star or a surfboard and be a surfer. It takes a little bit of effort. Obviously, you can use it. Anybody can drive a car, but not everybody's a race car driver. So it all depends on what level you want to be. And I think the goal is you want to be better than the guy coming after you. So, and that we never know. So to some people, it's a never-ending, personal battle within themselves. To some people, they feel, well, I hit the target, I'm good enough. So it's all just a personal preference, I think. But I wouldn't drop crazy money chasing famous names around the country. Unless you plan on doing something, with this as a career.
Yeah. Plus, you got to take into consideration that you're well more than average amount of your criminals out there are just that 2-bit criminals. We've got this James Bond idea of every single thug on the street is like a supervillain, and they're far from it. Most of the shootings happen by just point and spray. It's not like there's super talented bad guys out there. Most of them are 2-bit thugs.
Yeah, they're not going to these big gun thing, getting all this super tactical training.
Well, criminals also don't play fair, because that's just by name, I think. So if they can do something bad on the side, they're going to do that more.
Yeah, I was watching a couple of TV shows the other night. I'm trying to think. The first one is what was it? Where that woman's the chief of police in L.A. I think it's called Tommy or something like that. And some young man who was 17 stopped the robbery because he had a gun in his backpack, and he pulled the gun out and stopped the robbery. Well, the local newspaper said he was a hero. The police arrested him for being underage and having an unregistered or whatever handgun. And one of the policemen said, well, throw him in jail. guns are bad. If he's got a gun, that means he's a criminal. I thought, what kind of attitude is that? But I got to remember, these anti-gunners are writing these shows, and that. And another one that got me was that TV show with what's his name in it, SWAT. The other night, there was a Bonnie and Clyde couple shooting as they're running down the street, hitting innocent people, and of course, all guns should be taken away. Nobody should own a gun, As I'm thinking, well, these are written by writers who are living in California. They got that anti-gun mindset, and the only people that should have them are the police force. Now, my argument with this is I can only base this. I've read articles that say normally the law enforcement, when they get into a shooting, it normally takes them 3.5 rounds to hit the person they're aiming for. Also, where do politicians and all these people come off that the police are some highly trained, sophisticated people with weapons? I mean, when I lived in Rhode Island, I used to watch the Westerly Police Force. Their shooting range was outside. It was at the city. I call it the dump, but it's a transfer station. Their shooting range was there, and I used to drive by there, and I used to watch them. They were pitiful. I could shoot better than they could.
It's programming, in my opinion, especially when it goes, starting back with the TV deal. I don't know. It seems, I guess, a lot of people aren't aware, but most crimes don't get solved in a half hour. TV is to sell stuff. To be honest, a lot of things go unsolved, robberies, murders, things like that, if there's not a direct connection to them. But TV and CSI, which most departments can't afford, send off to a state lab, which has questionable issues there and passed a lot of different ones. So most of this isn't what really happens, unless it's a high class or murder case. And then as far as the police chiefs and things like that, politicians or whatever, they hear about a class or go witness the SWAT team training or something, everything looks good. It's, in my opinion, they gas everything up to keep the public in line, because no police can't shoot much. I mean, my local police were impressed by my M&P Shield like it was a space age gun or something.
Yeah, Rick, you have to take into account, in their defense, when they're shooting the silhouette targets, the reason they're hitting off to the side is because they're shooting the pistols out of their hands. So they're practicing different. Maybe.
You're full of shit.
No, I got some good buddies that are state cops here, and they're friends of my parents and go to church, all that stuff with them, and they're really good. They're actually the ones that brought up there's a place to shoot out in east of us. That's one of those ranges that it's just a private or a public range. With nobody there and stuff. They're pretty good.
Okay, I'm not saying some law enforcement guys aren't bad with firearms, but to give the sweeping, like when you listen to the news and they come out with a new law that you can't own this or you can't have that, but law enforcement can. What makes them so goddamn special? Some of those law enforcement guys, the only time they pull out their firearm is to take their proficiency test with it once a year, and that's it. Or however many times they have to go through that in a year. Otherwise, they don't go to practice or anything. You know what I'm saying? They're not.
But how many gun owners are out there that don't shoot for years at a time? They've got guns. But if you asked them what it was, I don't know. What caliber is it? I don't know. When was the last time you shot it? 1992? Yeah. You're like, oh, all right. No,
Yeah,
I'm not saying that means that police officers should have special exemptions. They are not military. They're not elected officials or anything else. They're everyday citizens that chose a profession that puts them in the situation they're in. But when it comes down to it, they're still an everyday citizen, just like you or I. Now, does that mean that they can't have a specialized weapon for their job? I don't know. That'd be like saying that, firefighters should only have garden hoses. Well, they're dealing with some different situations than your everyday person too. But are you saying that if it's a police officer that even off duty they get these special privileges? Because that's where I have an issue. But if it's something that's on duty and it's for the department, say they've got a full auto AR in one of the cruisers, you know what, they might just have a reason to have that one day. Like the LA bank robbery or whatever it was, where how many officers were mowed down by two people with AKs. It might have been nice to have a full AR or something that day, but just a police officer themselves, once they're out of uniform, no, they shouldn't get any special privileges.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I don't think law enforcement, whether on duty or off duty, should have access to anything that the general public doesn't have access to, other than maybe computer files where they can look up our information. But even that, to some certain extent, I think should be, if they have access to it, should be somewhat public. So weapons, training, special equipment, whatever it is, I think we should all be able, if we can afford it, we should be able to buy it and have it and not be questioned. And if they say we can't, then why does law enforcement get it? Because they're just citizens like us.
That's what I'm saying. They're not special, in my opinion.
Just a few short years ago, the people that now say that law enforcement should be the only ones that have guns and the only ones that should have specialized weapons, just a few short years ago were saying that the military-industrial complex is becoming the local police departments, and cops are hunting black people down and killing them, and they're all racist. So it's all a scam anyway. These radical left anti-gun people now think it's cool for a cop to have a 30-round magazine. 2 years ago, they thought it was militarizing the police force for them to have a 30-round magazine.
No, I'd just like to clarify. I wasn't saying that they should get things that we don't. That was my point with the full auto stuff, because if you can afford it, you can get, full auto weapons, but I don't know about you guys. I definitely can't afford it.
It's not the gun, it's feeding it. You'll go broke on ammo. Anybody can afford one, but then as soon as you start realizing how much you're going through ammo, you're going to be like, how do I unload this thing? How do I get rid of this?
Yeah. So what's this gun G-Webs are saying? So cops should have what we got, not what criminals have. Okay. So criminals can win by having one notch more than whatever is legal.
That's the exact argument that the anti-gunners were making when they put all these heavy weapons in the cops' hands, is because now the criminals got them, so we got to let the cops have them. Well, idiots, that's what we've been saying. If the criminals got AR-15s, why can't everyday citizens have them? That's what I'm saying.
That same argument.
We're caught in their game of this discussion, and we got to figure out a way around them handling all the narrative. I don't know how to do it, but we have to be aware of the fact that most of this narrative is their narrative that we're working with now, just like assault weapon. They made up assault weapons, so now we have to fight against assault weapon, even though it's bullcrap. I don't have the answer to how to do it, but we got to figure something out.
I've got an all-black golf club. Is that an assault golf club?
I know what you're saying.
Once you start beating
wait a minute.
somebody
Now
with
you're
it,
saying that you have a club that is exclusively for black people that play golf, and they're not letting anybody of any other ethnicity in there. That's racist, man.
Oh man, oh man.
It's not racist unless you're white. Let's say it only works one way. Come on.
So anyway, oh,
Or orange. I guess Donald Trump's racist and he's orange, so
he is a bad man orange. So, talking about change the subject totally. My other topic. As of May 11th, my diner can open up on 50%. So I can go back to eating lunch and breakfast out at my local diner again. I ain't sure how they're
Now,
going to do it.
does that mean you have to call ahead and make an appointment to eat, or you're going to be stuck outside waiting in line, not social distancing?
I'm not sure yet. I haven't found out. But they've got to follow social distancing rules still inside. So I would imagine I'm trying to think. I would imagine they would use every other table and say, and I guess how the people, if say your family goes in there, can you all sit together, or do you all have to sit 6 foot apart? I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. But what I'm saying is we're opening back up. Indiana is opening back up. And it's what I've been saying all along. Why should the masses suffer for the few? I know New
Lucky
York
you.
up there in the Northeast are having it tough, but why should I suffer?
Yeah, that's true. I don't see why I should suffer, honestly. But I'm not in the heart of the city or right next to it, so would be nice if it wasn't such a big deal. But my area is hit pretty bad, but it'd still be nice not to have issues or be able to buy whatever you'd like. So
as of yesterday,
claiming here not till the 15th. So
as of yesterday, it has gone up. I mean, the county I live in has a total of 23 cases. Not one of them have died. And that's been we've gone through this argument week after week after week. 90% of the people survive. So I mean, and that's a high estimate, saying 10% die. So all I'm saying is I'm glad we're opening back up. We're getting back out there. The economy needs to get back on its feet. I got my $1,200. I've ordered my my Uberti 1875 and 45 Colt, nickel plated. Unfortunately, because of the situation, the distributors are behind schedule, and they said it's going to take about a week. So Monday is 7 days. So I'm hoping I get a call Monday. If I don't, I will call them Tuesday to find out the update on what's happening. So that's what I'm waiting for, because I got my stimulus check and I'm ready to spend it. I don't know. I mean, is that right? We discussed this. What was it, Wednesday?
Yeah, I listened to your Wednesday show on Gunstreamer yesterday, and dude, a shot timer? What? Really?
Oh yeah. Trying to even get faster, improve.
Who's gonna hold it for you?
You don't have to. You clip it onto your belt.
All right. Yeah. Whatever.
Haven't you watched those big gun guys on?
Every time I've watched a gun match, there's been somebody standing behind him.
Yeah, but I mean, if you watch what's his name? Who's that? Jerry Michalak? You watch his videos. He has his timer strapped onto his belt every time.
Yeah, I don't watch too many of his videos. I mean, last time I watched him, what was he? Was he shooting paint cans or something? I don't know. Yeah, I don't watch him too much. I'm not saying I don't think the guy is knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable. I mean, I remember when he set the world speed record with a revolver. My jaw dropped and hit the floor. I was like, damn. That's before the internet and stuff,
Yeah, he even set a record for me shooting a target with one of his guns at 1,000 yards.
I think David's suggestion of the little sand dial egg timer. I think you should just get one of those.
Yeah,
for $1.
I said I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to look on. Somebody said there's got to be a free app on the phone I could use instead of buying one.
How much is the timer that you want to buy cost?
$110.
You know how
Yeah,
many
I say go with
lost rabbits you could make for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go with Patriot's idea with the egg timer. I'm sure you'll do a lot better.
I'm with you, Rick. I think it's a good idea, and those timers actually work better. A lot of the cell phones aren't really loud enough, or there's different issues with it. So
They
I
work
would
better.
I would go with it. I think it's a good investment to improve on yourself. You know, that would be a form of training. You're trying. You know, you have a goal to beat, so you can actually measure where you started to where you are. And for $100, that's not bad. I mean, most people spend, what I consider Gucci money or whatever on whatever, $300 flashlight that sits by the bed or whatever. So this is actually something that can help you improve. So I think it's a good purchase. Although I do feel like you guys are all kids getting money in the candy shop. As soon as you guys get some money, you gotta go blow it on crap. But that's my opinion. Like I stated, prices are gonna go up. All this is gonna have an effect.
So I got one
don't
vote
cry later when you're broke.
So I got a yes vote for the timer. But I think
that's a yes for me.
Yeah, but I think the rest
there's
of them
two
no.
models. I would suggest the newer one. The newer one, I think, is the one that's just up over 100. So you're probably looking at that. The older model is, I believe, you can get for like $80 now.
Yeah, but I think
no.
I think you're the only yes in the bunch, though. Yeah.
I say no too.
I vote yes on blowing the money on something stupid. Just something else stupid.
Timer. You're going to use it probably 3 times and throw it in the drawer and never use it.
I know.
So I would buy something,
Now I'm going to. I said I got to go. I said I got to buy reloading supplies. I got to get me some 45 Colt dies for reloading.
If you really, really want it, like that's really something that you want, go for it. But if not, blow it on something else.
No, it's not something that I really want. Just something I just thought about. I thought since I had the money, why not? But
mag wheels on your scooter.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was just an idea I had. I'll try the free timers on the phone first, and if they don't work, then I'll buy one. That's the route I'm going to take now. So, do I have a chronograph? Is that how you pronounce it? No, I need one of those, don't I? They're cool since you're reloading.
Yeah,
I'd get that before I got some damn shot timer.
Do you have one, Squib? When you're reloading, do you use one?
No, I use my buddies. I like to shoot his up instead of spending my money on one I'm going to shoot up. But eventually, I'm going to get one. Actually, I want that Magneto Speed one, and Calaveras 32 Special just got one. He's going to be doing some videos on there, so I want to watch some of his videos and see how well he does with it, and what his recommendation is.
Yeah. So, which one do people recommend for me to use? I don't want nothing too expensive, but I don't want.
Just get the green Caldwell one everybody has.
The what?
The Caldwell one that pretty much everybody has. I mean, there's a bunch out there.
Look at you guys. You don't want him to get a shot timer to improve his times, but you want him to drop a bunch of money on reload and stuff. Let's see what it is.
Yeah. So this will check the speed of my bullets and stuff like that, my velocity. But then again, thinking about it, I personally don't care if my bullet hits you at 900 feet per second and yours hits me at 1,000 feet per second. To me, it doesn't make a difference. You're still dead.
I think I figured out the best of both worlds here, Rick. You buy the shot timer, you hit the button, draw, take a shot, hit the button, and then hit the button again, and hit the button again. So you're not only timing your timing, but you're timing how long it takes the bullet to get out of the barrel to the target. No, that's got to be easy.
Yeah. Chromos are for range warriors, according to G-Webs. Yeah. So, I don't know. But I do have a question for you, Squib. What powder is best to use in the 45 Colt? Somebody told me Trailblazer.
Trail Boss, you mean?
So, yeah. Do you recommend that one?
I don't load 45 Colt.
Well, damn it. That doesn't help me any, does it?
But that would be one that I would think would be good for it, though. If I was going to load 45 Colt, I'd probably load it with black powder. So I'd be loading for a whole different setup than you. But if I'm going to get if I'm going to get a revolver and load black powder cartridges in there, I'm going to have it chambered in 4440.
Yeah. Oh.
Got a weird question.
Yeah.
This probably sounds stupid, but has anybody experimented with like a incendiary gel or something like that in a casing instead of powder? I mean, if it's contained and whatnot, I'm just curious, like a manufacturer that anybody knows about or anything other than just standard
An
powder.
incendiary gel wouldn't create an explosive force to push it out.
Okay.
There you go.
Some type of fuel or something like that.
I mean, like if you're thinking of a fuel air explosive, that does create a blast, and it does more to suck the oxygen out of the air than anything else. I'm trying to think if the closest thing I can think of to a different propellant is a gyrojet. And that's a rocket. So a handgun or a rifle that shoots rockets.
All right. I was just curious. It was just floating in my mind there for a second. So.
Oh, Rich White says he wants the 1875 Remington replica in 357 Magnum. You know? Yeah, the Uberti comes in 357 too, but I wanted to try to get 45 Colt. To me that goes with single action. I don't know why. To me it just does. So that's why I chose that one. I just want to have my 5 minutes of living my fantasy of being a cowboy as I'm shooting at my targets, So. Yeah, there is a lot of problems getting solved left and right today, Kingpin. You are right there. I'm reading what you wrote. So, how is things opening up in Michigan? Because I get confused with that state. Are you guys still under lockdown? Patriot, I'll let you answer. Talk to me, Patriot.
Oh, sorry about that. I was looking what was for dinner. Yeah, I guess we're still on lockdown. They extended it to the end of the month again. I don't know what that means, though. I don't go out much anyway, so. You should watch Squib's last thing. He was talking all about it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I did watch his last one. I did. He was drinking whiskey and washing his hands with sanitizer. Yeah.
Whiskey and rye singing my.
Yeah. So what? I mean, I'm going to ask you anyway, Guns and Barbecue. I'm not asking exactly where you live, but what state you live in. Another one is not answering me. He must be off looking what for dinner.
I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm actually about 30 minutes south of Erie.
Oh, okay. All right. Pennsylvania opening up? Or are you guys still on lockdown?
Last I heard, we're supposed to open up on the 8th, but recently I've been noticing people really witching about the governor again, so I'm not sure if he is trying to push that back and whatnot. So I've been trying to find out if it's getting pushed back or not.
All right. Well, how are things there in Maryland? Are you lockdown, Kingpin? Man, response is slow. Everybody must be looking what they're having for dinner.
It's crazy, man. Quality's dropping.
I know. You back with us yet?
Were you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking to somebody else. That's the only reason I didn't answer.
No, I was asking in Maryland there, are you guys still in the lockdown or are you opening up soon?
There's a little bit of loosening of the restrictions. The county that I live in isn't really all that tight in the first place, but Larry Hogan called it an indefinite stay-at-home order. So when he decides to hop up off his throne and let us go, then it'll be complete.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hate tyrants like that. I really do. As I was discussing it, was it last week or Wednesday, or whatever? I mean, we are setting ourselves up here because we've given up our freedoms for this. You know, they took them from us and we let them do it. I'm telling you, if one day that we had the wrong people in government, you know, especially when it comes to this climate change and everything else, it's got to be better for humanity. We got to, you know, so we're going to stop you from driving your cars on Sundays and Mondays, you know, for we don't pollute the air. You know, you can't use you can't use motors in the lakes anymore because you're polluting the water. We need to keep it clean. I can see them doing it, and as we're a bunch of sheep, we're going, yes, sir, no problem, sir. We'll do it for you, sir, because you say it's good for us, sir. You know, that's what I see coming. So, prove me wrong.
Yeah. It's going to take something different, real change. You know, actions, what's changed things in the past. That's where I stand. I think the letters, all that, I don't think they care. Look at the rally in Virginia. Yeah, nobody likes what I got to say in a sense, but I think it'd be more effective showing up at their homes peacefully. I know people say, oh, you're bringing that into personal life. Well, every law they make, everything they do affects us personally. If we put them there and they're screwing us over, then we should let them know we know in their face all day, every day, to the point where it's uncomfortable. The family's upset. People are tired of everybody outside holding signs and they can't do anything, and make their life, make them feel it like we feel the laws every day. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it seems like as soon as something happens or we get something set, they change the rules on us. So I think it's going to take action. Like in a lot of situations, people will do what you'll let them, they'll do what you let them get away with. So, and so far as a group, we've gotten away with, up to the point where we are. So, and we're going to stand up or bow down at some point.
And what I'm saying is you get the wrong people in there and they can do it to us again. They will say, well, we've done it for the COVID-19, so we can do it for this. You know, we've set ourselves up. We need to be very careful in the future. We need to, if this ever happens again like this, we need to say, whoa, you can't do that, So I personally think, but I don't know. What the hell I know?
People overstep, there needs to be accountability and action taken, but everything gets held up and it's going to be a case, and then something else happens 2 months down the line, everything's forgotten about. So, in my opinion, we're getting, hammered in the sense of the Patriot Act. Why do we even still have that? I mean, there's so much crap out there that gets overlooked, and then we end up with another problem and another problem. And the whole time they're just kicking the ball further down the field. And what happens is we sit here complaining and write a letter.
All right. Oh, hang on. Ozzy Osbourne said Illinois' governor is trying to be a tyrant, but there are several lawsuits to reel him in. Yeah, I heard that too. Oh, Ohio 45 wants to know, did he miss the quiz winner? No, I haven't done it yet, and I'll do it right now. I had 6 entries, and oops, wrong one. Where is it? Here it is. It was a real easy one. I wanted to know what the make and model of the shotgun that Clint Eastwood used in The Unforgiven, and I wanted to know what firearm Morgan Freeman used. The shotgun was a W. Richards 10-gauge double barrel, and Morgan Freeman used a 56. Is it a 56 Spencer rimfire 1860 rifle? That's how I got it. I might have written it down wrong, but that's the answers I got. And said I had 6 entries, 6 correct entries. So let me hit my random picker here to see who's won. Ohio 45 ACP is the winner. Man, I think this program's rigged. When people say something, I mean, like last week, the person who mentioned the quiz, his name came up and he won. Ohio mentions it today, and he wins. I think somebody's what's the word I'm looking for? They cracked the code of this thing and they're changing it to their benefit. You know? There we go.
The system.
Yeah, they've hacked into it.
Well,
Making it, So
yeah, they're divided up so you don't catch on, can't prove it. Unknown user can't take all the prizes.
That's right.
I'm sure he's getting a cut, though.
I reckon he is. So anyway, this week's question for the swag pack. Now, I got to see if I can word this right. It makes sense. It was an article I was reading about Colonel Rex Applegate. What I want to know is, back in around 1950, when he was in Mexico, he was charged with a machete. Somebody drunk was wielding a machete at him, and he shot him. He put 5 rounds into him. I want to know what gun that was that he used for that. And I found it in 4 or 5 different places on the internet. So it's out there and we find. I want to know what gun he used and what gun did that lead up to being made by Smith & Wesson shortly after that. That's the question. It's a double question. What gun did he use when he shot that guy in Mexico who was trying to kill him with a machete? And shortly after that, Smith & Wesson developed another firearm based on some of the info that he put in, basically. So email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. There you go. And you got to lunchtime next Saturday to get that into me. So there we go. And of course, I will mention the quiz next Wednesday too. So I thought I'd pick a harder one for you guys this week. There we go. All right. Anything else, guys? I think I'm going to throw some burgers on the grill. Oh, I didn't even think about cut of the week. I forgot all about it. I'm going to throw some burgers on the grill, and they're pre-made. I'm afraid I'm not making them myself. I keep a pack of. Actually, they're for pre-made. They're not bad. I buy these ones in Walmart. They're in a red bag. I think they're 80/20. It costs about $10. I think there's 12 of them in there.
You're crazy.
I keep a pack of those in the freezer. If I don't have any ground beef, I'll use those. So I think I throw about 3 of those because they're not that big. I think I throw about 3 of them on the grill today.
Is that 20% beef, 80% dog food?
Yeah. Actually, for a frozen burger,
That's
for
the best
frozen burger, they're not being a meat guy, right? For frozen burger, they're not bad, you know. So that's all they're
Guys
saying.
are brave.
You see them in Walmart. They do a 75. They do a 75-25, an 80-20, and I think they do a 95-5 burger. You know, I just thought I'll just throw it out there. You know, I prefer making them out of my burgers out of ground beef. You know, and I don't. When I make them, I don't do much. I just take the meat and I just add salt and pepper. You know, whatever. I mean, most of the time, seasonal. I grab whatever I got what closest to my hand, mix it all up, make them into patties, and just throw them on the grill. In the old days, though, when I mixed it all up, I think I've told this before. I would take a fist and put like a little bowl in the middle of the burger and pour some beer in there, then mix that into the meat, then make my patties on the grill. I tell you, a beer soaked burger is absolutely great. So, all right. That's what I. So, did you figure out what you're going to have, Patriot?
Yeah, I'm going to grill out, of course. I just found some. Don't tell anybody vegetables I'm going to do on the grill too. So yeah.
We're having trouble hearing you there, Guns and Barbecue. I don't know if you got a mic problem right now. So yeah. So Squib, I got a bone to pick with you. You're roboting on us. We can't hear you, Guns and Barbecue. Yeah, Squib, I got a bone to pick with you. You deserted me. You hurt me. You stabbed me in the back or stabbed me in the heart. I thought you were my friend. I sent you an invite to my show at 7:00, and you went on the panel of Budget Guns and Gear at 7:00 when he corked me, and you helped him. Oh. I'm only messing with you. So
Rich White was there too, so he's just
yes, he was. I forgot to mention Rich White was there as well. I saw that. My friends just kicked me to the curb because Budget was on. You know? But I don't know.
Gallagher said, one big club and we're not in it.
Yeah. But my true friends were here with me on Wednesday. That's what matters. You know? Oh, God, don't say that to me, Jason. Great show, Rick. Be safe. Oh, that rubbed me the wrong way. God, I hate that saying with a passion. You know, but what can I say? I got corked.
Hey, David.
Wednesday, so,
can you throw?
Guys, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It all helps with the YouTube stuff. I don't know if it's going to help me with my small subscription I have, subscribers, but hell, better than nothing. So, all right.
What's up, Patriot?
I was just going to say, can you throw Guns and Barbecue's link out there?
It is.
Yep, just did that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we put his link out there, Guns and Barbecue. New guy.
Thank you.
You know. So, Rich White, I know what I wanted to say to you, being a West Virginian. I was watching a show the other night. There's what's the name of the town? There's a town in England. I think it's up north. They call him the Owl Man. He's identical to the Mothman. Is it the same person? You know, as the two countries got the same thing. That's what I want to know. You know, you got the Mothman in West Virginia. Now they got the Owl Man in England, and his description is identical to the Mothman. So, Just
What
thought
are you watching in your free time, Rich?
what show was that? What show was that? Oh, Paranormal caught on camera. That's where I saw it on. They actually got a picture of him. You know, of course, it's always it's faded and blurry, but they caught him. You know, so yeah, that's a show I watch.
Pluck his wings off.
I watch all that kind of stuff. Paranormal. I watch Ghost Hunters and all them kind of shows. I like watching that kind of stuff. You know.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not saying there isn't. I'm not saying there is. But many years ago, back in the early 80s, when I was working on a military base in England, we had this warehouse that used to be an old hospital. It was made out of a bunch of Quonset huts put together. And back in the war, it was a hospital. This was an RAF base that the Americans took over. And this old hospital sat way all by itself in the middle of nowhere, and we used it as a warehouse. Well, I had to go over there and pick up. That's where we used to keep our supplies, like extra trays and stuff like that we needed in the meat department. So I had to go over there and pick up some more trays. I went over there, unlocked the door, and I'm walking down to where they are, and there's wet footprints on the floor, and it wasn't raining. And there was wet footprints and not a soul in that building. See? I'm telling you, there's something else in this world. I don't know what it is, but there's something. So, I believe in all that kind of stuff. I believe in, I don't know if there's a Bigfoot, but I like watching those kind of shows too. You know? All that kind of stuff fascinates me. I don't know why. Maybe I need to grow up. But, so, anyway.
Well, I don't know about Mothman. Bigfoot, that's another story.
Oh, the Mothman is Yankee. We haven't had a Mothman sighting since he moved from Point Pleasant. Yeah. And even after that, Rick didn't want to train with a shot timer. I don't know. Yes, Bigfoot story time again. Oh, yeah. Do I believe in Bigfoot? I don't know. I mean, I've seen footage. You know, everybody's talking. I'm going to waste your guys' time for 5 minutes here. That footage they used from back in 1960 something or whatever it was, the famous one in California. To me, that looks fake as all hell to me. But everybody reckons.
Gimlin film.
What?
I think that's the Gimlin film that you referred to that was put through the movies and whatnot. Roger Gimlin.
Yeah, that Bigfoot.
It's debatable. They say with the technology they had then, they couldn't reproduce it. So, and even to this day, people are still trying to bust it, but they're having issues. Apparently, there's something to do with the frame rate, 60 frames or 30 frames.
But then
you're not sure. In one way, it could be fake, not another. I don't know.
Then you got that famous scientist who studies people send him, and he gets, the plastered big feet in the ground and studies them. So he's a believer in it. So there got to be something to it. There's got to be something to it.
Have you ever seen like the Discovery Channel's Planet Earth show or some National Geographic, the Serengeti, one of those episodes that they show on TV?
Yeah.
So, okay, if you watch the last episode, it always talks with the cameraman and the crew. And one of these, they were looking for some Arctic eagle or something. These two guys hung off a cliff in a tiny little one-person tent for like a month to get a picture of this bird. If Bigfoot was real, Discovery Channel would have got a picture of it by now.
The other case of that is a lot of people would state the government doesn't want to admit they're real. No, I have no idea. No idea. All I know is I seen something one night. I can't say it's Bigfoot. Can't say it's not, but it didn't match what else fits in my mind. But there's a lot of scientists and reputable people that as soon as they step into that world, they're instantly silenced and blackballed, banned. Just like how gun stuff is censored. So just for that fact alone, kind of makes it questionable to me.
Yep. Oh, the latest show I'm watching, by the way, guys, this is it. I'll call it quits after this. The latest show I'm watching, it's been on. I can't remember what. I think is it the History Channel? I'm not sure what channel it is, but it's called the Skinwalker Ranch. Strange things going out there in Utah. I believe that
was. Hasn't been lately.
What?
Yeah, there was, but there hasn't been lately. And there's teams. That's like a not conspiracy thing. That's in government paperwork. That's legitimate. The research was done there, hand in hand with the government. There and a few other places.
Now this other guy bought the place, and he's doing his own experiments. And there's definitely something weird going on there. The government won't release their papers what they discovered when they were out there. So this guy's trying to find out. He's a multimillionaire. He bought the place. It's a new show. This was only recorded last summer. So there you go. I just wanted to mention that. You need to watch it. It's a good show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taking a break. It's back. It's back on the 5th. Is the next episode, but it's taking a break for a week or so. But it's on demand, so you can watch the first 4 episodes to catch up.
I can't vouch for any TV shows because a lot of that is even going back to the
I know.
I think it's sensationalized. It's just to make money and be entertainment. So same with this Skinwalker Ranch show or whatever. I wouldn't, I would take it with a grain of salt.
You're stuck indoors. You might as well watch it. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's foolish for us to assume we understand everything. So. It honestly is. So, I mean, it's only human. People think they know it until they don't. So, where the hold my beer, race in a sense. So, it's, just look around. I mean, we're in a spinning ball here. I mean, things are kind of weird from the get go. So,
all right, let's start. Anyway, while you're talking, you got any plugs or shout outs you want to do? New York?
No plugs. Just have a great day, everybody. In my area, it's nice. If it is nice and you can get out, get in some sun, do something, get healthy. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Patriot, put your dinner down.
Oh, boy. After that, I'm supposed to follow all that? I would just say that don't worry about Bigfoot or Mothman or aliens. The government's not behind it. They can't even get the post office to work right. So I hope everybody has a great day. Make it an outstanding day. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Kingpin, you got anything?
Have a good day, everybody. Check out G23 coming up 6 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, great. Squib, any shout outs or anything?
I published a video on Gunstreamer today, and I'll be putting out the YouTube version of it whenever I get done doing yard work here. But other than that, just having fun making videos and enjoying the nice weather. So thanks for the invite, and thanks for a chance for me to be on the show while I was outside doing yard work.
I appreciate you being here, Squib. Black Cat Outdoors said someone asked Patriot if he ever saw Bigfoot. I think that's a terrible thing to say.
Unless you consider my ex, but I wouldn't.
Okay. Last but not least, our new guy, Guns and Barbecue. You got any plugs or shout outs you want to do?
I guess I'd just like to give a shout out to Patriot in the Dark and G-Webs for getting me started with all this. Without them, I probably wouldn't have even started making videos or anything. So I guess go check out Gear websites and
Patriot Dark.
and check out Patriot page. And thanks for having me on. And like Patriot said, there's no Bigfoot, there's no Mothman, but there's definitely a Chupacabra.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I got you on my mailing list, so you're getting an invite to every show. You don't have to show up. You know what I'm saying? But it'll be in your mailbox on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
no problem. All right, everybody. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for sticking here and just listening to me ramble on for the last 30 minutes about absolutely nothing, But when you hear that, when you're outside and it's pitch black and you hear that noise, it could be something unworldly. Just want to say that. So with that, I will let you all go, and we'll see you all on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So goodbye and good night to everybody.
Bye, Sabrina.
If Hillary Clinton moves into your neighborhood, move out quickly.